Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cardistry Talk. This is episode 39, and today I'm joined by Jack Liu. I'm really super excited to have him here today. He's mainly on Instagram, but he's putting out really awesome cardistry. I'm really inspired by some of the kind of classic videos with the dark style. I'm super happy to have you here. Jack, welcome to the show.
Hi.
I think this is going to be really fun. I know when I posted like you were going to be on the show, a lot of people were really interested to just see your face and like see who you are as a person, because I mean, just like a lot of us, you just see the hands. So
Yeah, of course. Right. Yeah, should I turn off the light and
turn off the lights and just put your hands up to the camera. A lot of people know you for your kind of style of video when it comes to how you post. Why do you kind of like going with this older aesthetic of the really dark room, and then you can really only see the hands and the cards?
So first at the beginning, I'm not going for that kind of dark whole black background. If you see my early post like really very early, you can see just like a normal pose. And then one day I just realized I can do that, and I think okay, it's interesting. And then I start posting like that, and then I realized it will keep my page clean, So when people look at if I have like 50 posts and people scroll down, if I just doing like normally showing my room and I'm in different clothes, it would be pretty messy. And then I just feel like, okay, it would be cool to just like all dark and some kind of consistency in there. And also, the reason I open an Instagram account is just to post cardistry moves, right? That's the only purpose. And in the beginning, so that's the only thing I'm doing, post a move, and only the move. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. And then later on, I don't know why it become kind of a style or something, because I know a lot of people have done that, because I saw it from Leo in his second account. He did something similar, but he has the white bar on the top and bottom, so it's not all black. But yeah, I'm not the only person doing this, but maybe my lighting is just slightly better because I see some people did it not so perfectly, so everything is so blurred, right? So yeah, that's why. And sometimes I just get lazy and I can hide my messy room by just turning the lights off. Yeah, nothing special. I didn't intend to create an image of like that.
That's cool though. Like you said, you have like an aesthetic now. It really reminds me of like some of the older stuff, like Devo and XEM type of days that you don't see as much now. That kind of style. So I think it's really cool. I really enjoy it. It's kind of funny that you say keeping your room clean and everything, because that's something I have to think about a lot whenever just filming and everything.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to film something and I'm not in like because before I use Instagram, I film myself and post to some group chat or whatever, right? I just do it like very casual filming, and it's kind of messy, right? And then sometimes you're not wearing appropriately, right? Because we shuffle every day, like all day. Right? Sometimes you just want to film something and see how it looks like, right? And right, and then I just haven't found a convenient way. Every time I feel put on a black jersey or whatever like that, and then turn off the lights, turn on it looks like this. It's a LED lamp, whatever. It's you can adjust the angle and then just turn it on. Yeah, it's set up in a minute, so it's very convenient.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's nice. I know you've answered this kind of on your stories as well, your highlighted stories, but did have a lot of people ask kind of how you get that kind of dark style. How do you make those type of videos?
Okay, so I will just go over the whole procedure here, right? So in detail. So first you need either a DSLR, right, a camera, or your phone, but depends on which phone you have. Maybe you need to download an app for that, because you need a filming device that you can manually control the exposure. That's the main thing, right? And then when you have that, either it's DSLR or you download an app, whatever, go Google it, which app I don't know. So you just turn down the exposure, right? So everything is so dark, you can't even see your hand. And then now you, oh sorry, before that, just turn off the lights, right? Of course, turn off all the lights. And second thing you need to prepare is main light source. Like I have this thing. It's enough. It's just a normal lamp. It's not like professional like lighting device or whatever. It's just a lamp. And then but it better to be like brighter, or the light should be harder. Is it the term? I'm not sure. But don't get those very soft and chill yellowish lights. It won't be bright enough. So that's the only two requirements. You need a filming device and you need lights. And that's it. And then you turn down the exposure to as low as possible. Like just turn the shutter speed to the highest, and then what else? The aperture, the smallest aperture. The number should be the biggest, and lowest ISO. That's the three thing, right? And then you turn on the lights. You turn on your lights and then point it to your hand or whatever you want to light up, right? Maybe it's your face. Sometimes your face. Also remember to wear a dark color. Black would be the best, but if you wear a white shirt, it wouldn't work, right? Because black, it reflects everything. And then, so once you have those things ready, sometimes it doesn't need to be like black with just dark color, okay? And then you just slightly turning the exposure up slightly until you reach the point that you can see your hands and your car perfectly. And that's the whole procedure. And something I want to mention is I saw some people on Instagram, someone asked me, and they try to do that themselves. They focus on the black background more than the cars. Because that should not be the priority. You should make sure that cars are clear, your hands are clear, right? You should not prioritize the black, but not the car. If it's too black and I can't even see the car clearly, then there's no point doing that, right? So you just need to keep it as dark as possible, but you need to make sure the cars are clear, like so very clear, right? It shouldn't be so dark and I can't even see what's going on. That's a no.
I know you recently posted a move for Fontaine Trials. What's kind of your process if you go down to sit down and try to make a move, if you even try to process when you make a move, if that makes sense?
Before that, I want to ask a question first. So, like, why do you create a move? Like, do you know what move you want, right? That's the first thing. So, for me personally, I have different purpose for different moves. Sometimes I want to move to, I just want that move, right? I want a move that have a certain element. Because I cannot find that exact move anywhere. I have to create it myself, right? So maybe that's the purpose of creating a move. Maybe some other people, they create move to impress certain people, right? Some try to impress the community. Some try to get on BCA, right? Right? And some are creating moves for tournaments. You know, some people, they creating moves while they're in the tournament, right? So let us say they pass round one and then they just in that 2 weeks they come up 2 or 3 like stun move or whatever to put in the round 2 video and not doing that anymore. Right? You have all this different purpose. So depends on why you wanted the move. It's very different, the creative process, because the starting point is totally different. For example, if you want to create a move, for me, if I want to create a move trying to get on BCA or impress as many like cardists, professional cardists out there on Instagram, I would just look at the mainstream, like you see what everybody is hyping about and all those stuff, and there you can analyze that in a way. Like nowadays more mechanical and complex compared to a few years ago, right? For example, now you do a comfy Cardistry. That's not even a thing right now because you do a comfy free packet cut, it's like no, right? But I mean, back in 2015, that's a thing, right? Comfy Cardistry, right? And yeah, that's something you need to consider if that's your goal, right? And if for example for the move I post for Fontaine, um, that's not not that kind of purpose. I just want to do a move that's because I don't really have a structure type move for myself, so I want to create it one. I always had it in my mind, and then I so for this one, for that move I posted, it's mainly just like one structure, one display or structure, you call it. I don't know, those kind of things. And then just three main structure, transform from 1 to 2 to 3, and then close. That's it. That's the main purpose. So I know I want to less, like not those flowy type moves, more like so I know what I want. So once you have that idea, I want a spinny move, for example. So whenever I find an opener, I find a mechanic, I would try to apply a spinny thing on it, right? And you would just find it. That's the beginning. Just when you have that in mind, you know what it's not. It doesn't need to be very like exactly the entire move. You need an idea, right, of what you want. Like I want a more structural move. So whenever I have an opener, I would just go to that direction. So maybe it doesn't work for this opener, maybe not that one, but one day you will land it, right? And then just start from there. And then after that, it's more like a designing process. It's not just creating. You need to make a lot of decisions, and throwing away a lot of ideas. Because for me, creating that move is I make it very complex, and then I throw away this, throw away that, and throw away this, and keep it simple, right? Because I believe simple is better. Because this move, when I first trying to create it, I make it so complex that even there's so many grip change and then finger change or whatever. They make it so hard for myself to do it, and then I just need to. That's another thing that I do. I always try to simplify my move as much as possible. I hope that the things I created, that I can do it like 100%. That's my goal. I don't want to create something that when someone asks me to do it, maybe one day in person, and then I fail to do it 10 times, and then I get nervous myself, and then I can't even do that move, and then it's kind of embarrassing for me. So I don't want to do that. So I want to keep my move as simple as possible, without giving up the effect, of course. But
yeah, I think there's something to be said too. I think Aslan and Lars have said this when they were on the show. A difficult move doesn't necessarily mean a good move, and a simple move doesn't necessarily mean like a bad move.
Yeah, it's all about like if that complexity have a meaning, right? Has a meaning. Because if for example, so for a move you need to just grip the car with like that's a Leo's move. Like you need to grip the car with that 2 finger. That's a quite difficult grip because the car will, it's not a very firm grip. It's not like a 3 finger grip, like 2 finger. I know Leo did that in his latest video. Like one of move I remember very clearly because I try to do this all the time, but every time I fail. So when I see it, I immediately remember it. So yeah, that's one kind of like difficulty or whatever. But if you're just doing that for the sake of it, then it's totally pointless. But if it's necessary to complete the flow or the movement, then yeah, it has a meaning. So then it's something, right? Same as you just add a package, right? You add a packet for making it a 5 packet cuts doesn't mean anything. Sometimes it will even like destroy the entire flow, right? Like why there's a packet there, right? and didn't move since the beginning to the end, and it didn't play as an critical part in the structure, right? So so why? I mean, like, yeah, that's the thing.
That's something I always struggle with. Is like my brain automatically was like add a card, add a packet, like just try to make it bigger, and that's not always the best thing.
Sometimes you need to add a packet. Sometimes the move is too simple, and you gotta add a packet. And so that's something. Yeah, you cannot say it. You cannot say it for sure, but every move is different. You need to understand the move. You need to understand what you're creating. So
I think what happens a lot of times too is like you'll have a move that you've like created. I don't know if you've experienced this, but like half a year to like a year down the line, you'll be like, I could have done this so much better if I like had one less packet or a different packet or used a different finger. You'll find like smaller things to adjust to make your move better over time.
I have never have that feeling before, but I have similar feeling. But that's the reason is I never post any moves that I don't like. If you look at my Instagram account, I rarely post original moves, and some and because of that, many people mistaken that I don't create, but that's not the case. I just don't post because most of the thing I don't consider they're done, so I don't have the there's no point to post something that you will change it in 2 days, right? Sometimes I post, rarely I post, but I have more that I don't even want to show people those things like that, right? Because for me, creating is very a personal thing, right? I don't need people's like recognition. If I have that, of course it's better, right? It is good, but I don't need people to like. I don't need 500 likes to approve my move. As long as I like it. If a move I don't like it anymore, even if it got on DCA, I wouldn't do it anymore.
And you said that there's like different reasons for creating. What do you think your reason for creating? I know you just said it was pretty personal to you, but why do you think you create?
So two main reasons. So first is like if I kind of just mentioned it a bit earlier. It's like I want effects. I want like a move, some kind of move, right? But I cannot find it. No one has done the exact same thing, so I have to create it myself. So that's one thing. The second one is more rare. Sometimes you just happen to find a cool mechanics that you don't want to waste. That's it. You want to turn that into a move. I don't actively looking for those mechanics though. I'm not a because for me I care about I want the effect instead of the method, right? If we saying like magic term, right? I want to create new effect instead of new method, right? New grips and new mechanics. So I don't know. I just don't like looking for those kind of things. Instead, I want to look for newer combination of movement, right? That instead of the actual grip.
And one thing I have noticed too is like even with the beginner mechanics, there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been explored. So I made a little fan thing, which is like a variation on the smear fan. The fact that there's a variation on the smear fan that hasn't been found yet until like last year, like that's crazy because that's like a beginner concept. I think like even with the beginner mechanics, there's a lot of exploration that hasn't been fully fulfilled yet because we'll go to the new grips and we're always looking for that new grip or method.
Yeah, because for me, maybe it's because I joined Cardistry pretty not pretty late, but I'm not an OG, right? So I haven't experienced that era of no original move, right? Like back then, there are very little compared to now, right? Now you can see new moves every day, right? New move every day, like that. That's what happens right now. So I don't have that urge of finding new mechanics, new exploration because I think there are already so like the all the mechanics that have been found right now, like the existing mechanics, are sufficient for you to do much more, right? Right. So it's weird for me that seeing some people they just give up a mechanic just because other people done it, right? So that's not my mechanic, and I would not use that anymore because it's not mine. I think that's kind of weird. I mean, the internet is not yours. Why do you use it?
So one thing I have noticed too with you is, and this is something I see the verts do a ton, is kind of like perfect the moves, or like you said, being able to do it 100%, just bust it out, being able to do it completely. Do you have any tips for people that want to practice cardistry?
Know your priorities, right? So it's not possible for anyone, I don't think, right, to master all the moves they know. So because so this is what I think this is what something that Huron No from the Verge told me that like they said like their hand kind of have a like RAM that you cannot, if you want to put another move in there, you need to take away one. So you cannot master that many moves. So make sure you know which one to master first, right? And then practice is the key. You just want to repeat it. It's very simple, but many people don't want to do it. They because there are people DM me and then try to ask for tips of the move and then they're thinking that if I know these tips, then I can improve my move like instantly. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Yeah, so practice is one thing, and the next thing I'm gonna mention is always like practice doesn't make perfect, practice will make permanent, which means before you go practice, you need to know the correct way or the better way to do the move. You need to know how do you want your move to look like, right? Don't just go blindly practice. You need to know what you're practicing for. Another thing is you have to, right? You have to have a camera or your phone or at least a mirror to help you practice. You cannot just like look at your hands and see how you're doing. That's not gonna work because you cannot see the angle, you cannot see the range of the movement. For example, like squeeze, I do this all the time, right? If you just look at here, it's so different from what you see in a camera. So you have to look at the camera to see if your head's going too far, right? Like somebody like some squeeze like just going too big, and it's kind of a little bit crazy, the hands like going everywhere. So you cannot see that in your own like in this perspective. Right? You have to use a camera. So see if it's our frame or whatever. If the move is stayed well structured in the center.
Yeah. One thing I have noticed too is like I'll record myself. I'll like just without recording before it. I'll be like, oh, this is really smooth. This is looking really good. And then I record myself and it's like it looks not anywhere like as smooth as I thought it was, or doesn't look how I look at it from like this way.
I recommend filming yourself. Like a mirror is the least that you can have, right? But I think everybody has a phone right now who watching this should have either a laptop or a phone, or you're not watching this, right? so all those things has the filming function. Just turn it on and film yourself, film your move, because our eyes cannot when we watch our even in front of a mirror, right after we finish a step, we forgot about it, right? We cannot see the move entirely unless we film it and then see that entire move, play it again, right? We forget things so fast. Like you cannot remember how far your hand goes if you don't pause there, right? If you look at this angle, even in front of a mirror, you do it in full speed, you cannot see any detail. I know people, some newer carders. That's an advice for all the newer carders. Is don't ask a question like, how is this move? How is my what move? Like, how is my freeze? How is my mockingbird? You don't need people to tell you how good it is, because you should know.
And like, not to be a downer, but if you have to ask that question, then it probably means it's not as good as it could be if you have to ask whether it's good or not.
Yeah, because I never asked anyone about any of my moves. That's not in, like, even like, yeah, none. Like, since the beginning, I never asked, because I know it's not good. I know it's bad, right? I don't need to show it to someone who's better than me and waiting for their recognition so I can feel better. No, I know what I mean, because every time I look at it, I know how is it, like, because learning other people's move is, you have that reference, right? You're learning Tobias' move. Just look at Tobias' video, right? How he done a move compared to yours. You know you're not there, and then right, and then also don't just like say thing like, oh, because that's Tobias, I cannot be like that. I need 10 years to be like that. No, if you only focus on one move or one or two moves, you can. Depends on your level or your experience, but it wouldn't take that long.
Plus, like, whoever made it has already done all that groundwork of like figuring out what works and what doesn't. So like, you have the ability to learn it a lot faster than the person that necessarily made it a lot of times.
I mean, it's not difficult at all. That's the easiest thing in cardistry, is learning other people's moves. That's the easiest thing you can do, right? you right. So many people, they just don't want to do it, right? They don't want to practice. They are so, I don't know, maybe because I know some carders, like, personally, they're my friends, but they have this kind of, I don't know why, but they have this urge to have more material in a certain period of time, right? For example, they said, I need to master this by the end of my second year, and then I need to make a video to like so I don't know. I mean, don't do it. Maybe you can do it like once, but don't make that a mindset. Kind of, you can try to push yourself once, right? But don't stay in that mindset. Like, it would be not benefiting.
Yeah, it would be really easy to burn out. It's really easy to not like what you're doing if you're like forcing yourself.
And it's very distracting, because you already have a deadline kind of thing to that's in front of you, so you cannot just sit down and focus, take your time on the move, right?
Before we close up, I just want to end with like a kind of lighter topic. I have one person that always asks about like what people's favorite decks are, because they always want to know that. So, in your opinion, what are some underrated decks that you feel don't get enough love?
I still think the birds deck are really underrated. Because well, that's the thing I'm looking for anyway. If a logo deck, any logo deck, if that the design of the logo doesn't make my card show, it doesn't fit my move, and I wouldn't consider that's a good deck for me. Because a good deck for me is not about its price, it's not about its potential. Like, you know, you go up triple or 10 times in the future. That's not my consideration. And then I think what a good deck is if that deck can add some effect to your cardistry. That's what a cardistry deck means. So
sales wise, they definitely do very well. But like you said, like, you don't really see them in a lot of videos, especially the newest one. I feel like I have barely seen at all.
yeah, even themselves, even they, like, the first themselves didn't post it.
Yeah, they haven't posted like a video at all or anything. But yeah, that's really interesting perspective. Like, ironically, I think that's not the most common perspective, is like what's going to make my cardistry look the best. It's like, what brand do I want to be affiliated with? Who do I want to make a performance video? Like that type of stuff. Instead of like, what's going to make my cardistry look better.
Because for me, all those things like the brand or like the opportunity to get involved in a brand and the price or even the profits, those has nothing to do with cardistry. Like which of those is cardistry, right? That has nothing to do with cardistry. So as a cardist, like I love the art form itself. So so if a deck can improve my cardistry's effect, or its handling is so good that can improve my cardistry skill, then it's considered a good deck. If not, then it's a normal deck, right? Yeah, that's my valuation towards all these decks. Like for example, aerodynamics, like echoes, this is good, right? Many people using this. They give your cardistry new effects, right? And then yeah, so these are and I think the Vertex are definitely pretty good, pretty like, pretty beautiful, I would say. And yeah, and no one's using it, then it's underrated. That's my logic.
Yeah, no, that adds up. At the end of the show, Jack, what I usually do is I'll say roll out the close-up pad just to kind of relate it to Magic and cardistry. But is there anything that you would like to promote or anything you would like to plug real quick before we close up?
Nope. I just promote cardistry. Like cardistry is the best. So like cardistry itself is the best.
I'll leave links to Jack's Instagram in the description. Jack, thank you for being on the show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everybody watching learned something, maybe gained a little knowledge and had a little fun. We'll see you guys later. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.